Good morning everyone and welcome to Sean Does FM. I hope you're doing well. Hopefully too my voice is okay because I'm recording this at 6:20 and the reason for that is my wife later has violin lessons in my usual recording room, and also wanted to get this out as soon as possible because we've got our first look at Football Manager 26 like promised a couple of weeks ago. It's time for the match day experience. Let's see what that looks like and I'll try and dive in and see what I think of it and if we can pick up any little details elsewhere as well. Let's look at the trailer.
I'm on a mission, I'm paying dues, I'm in position, I'm staying up, it's getting late, you're doing good, I'm doing great, recognition, I'm on a mission, I'm paying dues, I'm in position, I'm staying up, it's getting late, you're doing good, I'm doing great, I had to let you go so I could grow and move, when time is of the essence then it show and prove, I had to leave to see what I could do alone, and when I get the money then I'm coming home. Recognition, I'm on a mission, I'm paying dues, I'm in position, I'm staying up, it's getting late, you're doing good, I'm doing great, recognition, I'm on a mission, I'm paying dues, I'm in position, I'm staying up, it's getting late, you're doing good, I'm doing great.
So there's our first look at the match day itself outside those clips that we did see in that little 30-second Premier League trailer a couple of weeks ago before the season did start. I've got to say, that looks super impressive. It's probably not quite FIFA graphics yet. You can't quite get the zoom in on player faces that might be useful for content creators like me who try and use the graphics in thumbnails, so I don't think we're quite there yet in terms of FIFA graphics, but elsewhere, it looks very, very nice indeed. The match day overall looks pretty good. Not too many crowd shots in there, but to be fair, I don't think we needed that. We were more worried about what was actually happening in the match engine itself. So I'll just make my way through here, this trailer, and see if I can pick anything out before we do have a look at the website and the Steam page, because there is now a Football Manager 26 Steam page. You just can't pre-order the game yet, which is probably a good idea from these guys after the whole FM25 debacle, especially with what Miles said last week. I missed that one. I had a funeral to attend, and it came out at a bit of a bad time. I'm going to make a video on there. I'll see how I'm going before I have to go to work, if we can squeeze something in about that. But a quick look in here at this trailer, and we'll just stop if there's anything that does catch my eye during the course of this one, and we'll get rid of that background music, because to be fair, not too sure if that's going to be too useful for a YouTube video. But you'll see there, if we go back pre-match, some of that stuff that we were sort of being shown a bit of in that brief Premier League trailer a couple of weeks ago.
Recognition, I'm on a mission, I'm paying dues, I'm in position, I'm staying up, it's getting late, you're doing good, I'm doing great.
Just in terms of overall graphical quality with the Unity engine, so I do think that's a big upgrade. You just see there in the first 6 or so seconds, and also obviously the Premier League being licensed, it does look quite good. And from there, we start to get a bit more into the gameplay itself, and this does look very clean. If the actual faces aren't quite there FIFA-wise, this is getting a lot closer, of course, with that camera angles that we do see in Football Manager. This looks pretty nice, honestly. It's not too bad compared to a game like FIFA or EAFC, albeit even if it's compared to a couple of years ago. This does look quite nice, and it's definitely going to make the matchday experience a lot better. That previous shot there, that actually looks pretty good with the angle that they're using. That might be TV with the lowest height and maximum zoom just compared to what I'm doing currently in the rebuilding Ange, and what I get my watching man to look at in the trophy games that Ange does play. That view there looks pretty nice, probably the clearest one that we can get in terms of zoom during a match, and you'll see there too the managers in the dugout and the crowd. It does look pretty decent as well, so I think that view might be the best one. That one too, the overhead view, that's actually quite nice as well. Probably going to be quite useful for those people who make tactics and whatnot, because that view should be really useful in seeing what your players are actually doing. So a couple of camera angles here that hopefully they will be in the game. It still says there that footage isn't final, but it's looking very nice. We'll make our way through the rest of this trailer. Just in terms of overall quality, there's another good angle there of the reverse goal one that people usually use for penalties. A nice close-up there too. And that shot there probably would have been the thumbnail. The overhead kick there from, I think it might have been an Everton player, that did look quite nice. All these close-up angles, they're pretty good without quite being at the stage yet where we can see the actual player faces. Good save there on that shot from Manchester United player which is always good to see. I'll just go back and try and get that overhead kick if I can, because that was a very good shot off the back. But I think it was a Liverpool player who had their shot saved in a Merseyside derby. Indeed, that was the case. And again, that looked like Everton with the overhead kick. I'm not too sure if some of these goalkeeping animations are new ones. To be fair, I'd imagine there'll be a couple that are different, but it looks pretty good, honestly, compared to what we're expecting. The ones that come off the crossbar now, they do look a little bit more realistic, I'd say, compared to what we've been seeing in previous Football Manager games. That chip there from an Arsenal player, that looks lovely with the improved graphics. A nice goal there from Tottenham. And you can see there a bunch of stuff around the Premier League and a couple of free kicks that are absolute bangers into the top right corner. So graphically, this is looking really good. A couple of shots there of the crowd, which is nice to see. But of course, in Football Manager, not too sure how much of that we will actually be worrying about during a game itself, and still not sure what actually happens in between highlights, because there was a bit of a suggestion that there might be a little bit of almost a FIFA career mode kind of thing when you jump into the game, of the dots moving around. You can see that before an actual highlight does take place. I'm still not sure yet about some of the UI, and if we make our way over to the interviews that Miles did last week, it sounds like that was one of the biggest problems, as I suggested in that last video I did make when the brief Premier League trailer, it did drop. Miles says here the user experience was the big problem. You couldn't find things in game. It was clunky. Some screens were double loading. The actual game itself was working graphically. They just weren't where they wanted to be in terms of that big leap forward, which I think it's fair to say in the match engine off the back of what we've just seen is definitely something that they've accomplished. So I think at the moment we're looking pretty good compared to the absolute S-Storm, as Miles put it himself. He did swear a lot in these interviews, this one as well as the one with the Athletic. Unfortunately, I need to log in and I can't be bothered doing that just now, so we'll just ignore that interview there. But it should be free for you guys to check out if you want to see it once you do log in, even if you don't have an account, because I cancelled mine with those guys a wee while ago now. And also, there is a BBC interview on YouTube as well, where you can actually hear from the man himself, but I'm still quite keen to see the UI. He was suggesting that we should get some news soon too on women's football. That was what we were expecting first in terms of last year's roadmap. Hate to bring up that word, but we were expecting women's football first, so I imagine they'll want to get that out pretty soon, because there'll be a fair bit of license chat in there as well. And he has also said a lot of new licenses for this year's game, so you'd like to think we'll have more licensed leagues, maybe a couple of new countries. We might be getting 6 more, including Egypt. Quite useful for those of you who do like something like a Pentagon Challenge. Unfortunately, still no New Zealand, I think, because our system is so confusing and it's about to get changed again. So not too sure exactly when we'll get New Zealand added to the actual base game in Football Manager. But these interviews are quite useful, mainly though if you want to see what was going wrong with FM25. And also, the FM website, it has been updated, but just with that new trailer, they've just replaced the old one we got a couple of weeks ago from the Premier League. So not too much there that's going to be super useful, but you will notice you can now wishlist it on Steam. So we'll make our way over here to the Football Manager 26 page on Steam. We'll use the website version here and just keep this simple for me, as I am in a little bit of a rush before work. As I said, we've got 5 screenshots that we can zoom in on a little bit. There you'll see the first one there. That's from that trailer a couple of weeks ago, albeit you'll see there, you can skip all this if you want to, and I imagine after a couple of games in the Premier League, you might start to get a little bit sick of this, but can skip forward to kick off a lovely button there, which does include a Premier League logo. Going forward to the second screenshot again, that's from that trailer we saw a couple of weeks ago, that nice lighting of the Premier League trophy. And now we start to get into the match day shots. There's that shot from a Liverpool player that I think did get saved, and that's probably one of the closest up angles we'll actually get in the match engine if you do want to play it this way from a bit of a low view in behind the goal, depending on what team you are. So as I said before, don't think we've quite got player faces to be if you're not too sure if that's going to be super useful in Football Manager if they don't have licenses for stuff like that, especially in leagues that they don't have license like the Prem here, but it still is a huge upgrade on what we've seen before. You've still got the text bar down the bottom with commentary, so I don't think we'll be getting that just yet. We didn't get any sign of that before with the music over that trailer, so I still think we've not got likes of Peter Drury in game, but to be fair, don't think we need that super urgently. The graphics being the main focus of this match day experience in FM26. Going forward to our next screenshot, you'll see there a little bit of a change down the bottom in the rating bar. It's just got players by their position now. I imagine you might be able to hover over that and get player names and whatnot. You can see the hearts there, and hopefully it's a bit customizable as well. But an interesting change there. It's a little bit different. Just got to remember which players you've got in which position. Hopefully it might still get changed a little bit, like a right centre back and a left centre back, because currently that could get just a little bit confusing, albeit you can probably figure it out too by the fact the left back's there and the right back's there. But if you've got two DMs, yeah, that could start to get ever so confusing. So hopefully that's something that they might still be working on. Also, left and right strikers. But again, you probably figured it out too by how the left back and right back are being shown. But interesting there that they've really cluttered down on that bottom bar. You've got your mentality up there in the top left corner. So you can go from balanced to positive or attacking. Or if you're really in trouble, very attacking. That usually doesn't work out too well. Instructions that'll probably pop up if you need it to, and the tactics screen as well. But I imagine during a mid-match highlight, that's something you don't want to do unless you're trying to cut out a highlight to the opposition. We'll see if that works quite as well as it does in the likes of FM24. But again, graphically, this does look quite nice. This shot a bit better in terms of seeing the manager's dugout and the crowd. The crowd, not super detailed, but a lot better than what we've had previously in the past versions of Football Manager before this move to the Unity engine. And start there in the top right, you've got your settings. You've got to imagine under your dots and more game settings, that might even be in terms of the replay settings that you've got, and the pause and the play button as well. So it's a little bit familiar, but a few changes in terms of that rating bar down the bottom. And going over to our last screenshot for now, a free kick here from Chelsea against Man United. And it's pretty similar to what we've seen before, just with a couple of players on some different ratings. And also, I haven't pointed out so far, we've got that lovely Premier League branding with the scoreboard. And to be fair, that does look quite nice. It's not taking up too much room, and it's smack bang in the middle. So it does mean as a content creator, we can position ourselves in other areas in terms of the face cam, because top left used to be somewhere you didn't really want to go with the score sheet, and also that used to be too where all the stats would pop down from. So overall, this is looking really good in terms of the graphics, especially in the actual match itself. As I said, not quite yet at the sort of level that FIFA is in terms of player faces and whatnot. As I said, that might be because of some other licensing. They don't quite have the players in terms of that yet from all the leagues in the world, so that's probably why they can't quite do that. But still, that's a huge upgrade on what we've been getting before. And if we get out here too of the Steam page, we'll make our way down further. A brief description about the game itself. Football Manager 26 takes us on a journey to define our football destiny. Enhanced graphics are only the beginning of a more immersive and tactically rich experience, creating a new footballing reality that's authentically shaped by you. Our richest matchday experience yet. It's powered by the Unity engine, obviously, and it enhances their player movements, refines animations, and greater on-pitch detail. As clearly we can see from the two videos that we've got so far, bringing added depth and authenticity to every match. Feel the drama of every inch-perfect through ball and last-minute winner with volumetric animations and motion capture drawn from real football. So maybe a couple of new animations, just not too sure if we actually saw that many in that trailer we did just have, because to be fair, animation-wise, FM has been getting better over the last couple of years, including an FM24, and you can now put it on your wish list. Just not too sure yet exactly when we are expecting the game, but you'd imagine from the interviews that Miles was doing, it sounds like it will come out in about that normal November period, with a beta or early access coming in October. And also too, we do have the system requirements now. I won't pretend I've got a huge idea about what's going on down there, but you'll see the minimum and the recommended. Still not too bad in terms of storage, only 20 gigabytes of space, which is not too bad at all. The memory, they want 12 gigabytes of RAM compared to a minimum of 4 gigabytes of RAM. I'll just check to and compare it what's actually listed on the FM24 page if I can find it. And this is what we've got, so I'll probably edit this in terms of what you guys can see, so you can see both on screen, but you'll notice that in terms of the memory, there's no difference. Obviously, the processors and the graphics, that's probably a big improvement. I might put that up too once I Google it, once I get to work and start editing this one and sort of see just how big an upgrade that this is. But as I said, not the biggest computer nerd, but we'll see how things go. But memory, it's the same. It's the storage, I think, that's the biggest difference. You need 20 gigabytes of space. In FM24, it was only 7 gigabytes as a minimum recommended. There's nothing there for some reason, not too sure why that's not popping up there on FM24. I'll see if I can maybe find that when putting this video together, but I imagine there's a couple of big upgrades there in terms of those system requirements. If you've got an old PC, you might need to maybe play on a setting that doesn't quite have those fancy graphics that we did just see. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed that video just running through what we've got out this morning. As I said, definitely my first look, because it's still only 6:45 New Zealand time in the morning. So hopefully I haven't missed out on too much there. We've had a look at the Steam page. You can definitely wishlist this now on Steam, but still no pre-orders, but you can get a look at what you might be needing in terms of the system requirements. And actually memory too recommended, it was 12 gigabytes. So definitely some upgrades there in terms of both the memory and the storage, and no doubt too the processor and the graphics, as well as the operating system. They recommend that you do have Windows 11, not Windows 10, but you can get away with Windows 10 with update 22H2, whatever that does mean. And we will just compare this trailer too and just see what it looks like compared to the actual current FM24 match engine. I'll load up a game from the rebuilding and save from last season, so don't spoil anything, and you'll be able to see pretty quickly a massive upgrade in terms of just the general sharpness and in terms of the actual graphical quality as well. So I'm quite happy with what we're seeing here. So already pretty stoked by what FM26 does look like. The extra year they've had to work on it does look like it has paid off there for Miles and his men off the back of FM25, as he said a few times in those interviews, the S word, and also a couple of other F1s, because apparently this year's game is effing great. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video and are looking forward to Football Manager 26. Hopefully now start to get a bit more consistent news off the back of that interview last week with Miles. I'll leave the links to all those articles and videos down in the description, and we should be back next week, I'd like to think, with a bit more detail about something like women's football. It's already the start of September. We're only a month and a bit away, you'd imagine, from the early access dropping, so I'm not too sure if it'll be weekly news or every 2 weeks, but you'd imagine they'll want to continue building the hype off that good trailer that they have just dropped off the first look at the match day experience, and also at some stage too, want to get a look at the UI, because that's definitely something that is getting changed. That tile system, Miles did say, just did not work. But if you enjoyed the video, then do make sure to go down below and leave a thumbs up on it. And also, if you want to keep up to date with Football Manager 26 news, and also series like Rebuilding Ange that we have got going on the channel still back on FM24, then also make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. Hopefully a new one of those will be coming to you early on next week. But until the next time I see you for either that or some more FM26 news, thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.